station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
Good evening. This is the 5FM Radio Main News. The headlines. US offers Zambia up to 2 billion United States dollars in grants under reciprocal work. ACC arrests 3 livestock and fisheries officers for corrupt practices. And hunt underway for Benin coup plotters as 2 hostages reportedly freed. This bulletin is live on our YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia, and live on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia. With the details, my name is Lance Sannie Banda. The United States, under the Trump administration, has offered Zambia grants of up to 2 billion United States dollars over the next 5 years, anchored on a mutually beneficial principle of reciprocity. Speaking at State House when he met President Hakainde Hichilema, U.S. Assistant Secretary for Economic, Energy and Business Affairs, Caleb Orr, said the assistance package is a bold and targeted intervention aimed at supporting systematic reforms and strengthening health service delivery to reduce long-term dependency on foreign aid. Mr. Orr said the redesigned Millennium Challenge Cooperation MCC Compact will prioritize unlocking Zambia's agricultural potential, expanding road networks that connect farms and mining hubs to markets, and supporting value chains and value addition across key sectors.
As Ambassador Gonzalez has said, the United States expects more from our bilateral relationship. Zambia has enormous economic potential, but for too long has been constrained by often slow, unpredictable, and an opaque business regulatory environment. Despite massive U.S. foreign assistance for decades, the U.S. private sector still sometimes struggles to invest in Zambia or secure clean deals. This is inconsistent with our shared vision of Zambia's economic future, one founded on economic and commercial diplomacy. President Trump has been clear that we must move on from an era of aid to an era of trade that benefits both of our peoples. I am here because the United States believes in Zambia's tremendous potential. We want to offer a value proposition. What we seek is both straightforward and mutually beneficial to the Zambian and U.S. people.
And President Hakainde Zambia is ready to reset and strengthen its relations with the United States, expressing hope for a successful conclusion of discussions that will support the country's economic transformation agenda. Zambia was previously among the African countries affected by U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to pause foreign aid to certain nations.
I do believe that the interactions that have taken place before Assistant Secretary came are the basis for this meeting to progress, to move forward. Let me step aside a bit, Assistant, acknowledge our long-standing relationship, U.S.-Zambia partnership, which really anchors the friendship of the two peoples, American, through different leaderships in America to rotate Republicans, GOP, and the Democrats. On our side, different leaders have interacted with American leaders on behalf of our two peoples. Just to give you a bit of data, I know Ambassador Gonzalez will have done that already, that I'm the 7th president since independence.
The Anti-Corruption Commission (SEC) has arrested and charged 3 officers from the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries for corrupt practices involving the misappropriation of part of the 10 million United States dollar loan obtained from the African Development Bank (ADB). The officers arrested are Henry Sichene, Lusaka Provincial Livestock Research Officer, and former Muchinga Province focal point person for the Sustainable Livestock Infrastructure Management and Project, Abraham Mulinga, Provincial Fisheries and Livestock Marketing Development Officer for Central Province and former Slim focal point person in Muchinga, and Peter Michese, District Accountant for Chinsali in Muchinga Province. According to the SEC, the 3 are accused of misappropriating part of the 10 million United States dollar loan that the government of the Republic of Zambia acquired from the ADB in 2019. Disbursement of the funds began in 2020 and was initially scheduled to run until 2024, but was later extended to June 2025 due to delays in releasing the funds. Speaking during a press briefing today, ACC Director General Daphne Chavu said the loan was intended to support the Sustainable Livestock Infrastructure Management Project by improving livestock infrastructure, enhancing livestock production through the commercialization, and providing capacity building for ministry staff.
Peter Michese, district accountant for Chinsali in Muchinga, has been charged with 4 counts of possession of unexplained property, contrary to Section 22 of the Anti-Corruption Act number 3 of 2012. His charges relate to blocks of flats, houses, and motor vehicles, all valued at 2 million kwacha. Additionally, he has been charged with 1 count of corrupt acquisition of property and revenue, contrary to Section 34 of the Anti-Corruption Act number 3 of 2012, all involving 5.5 million kwacha. We wish to inform members of the public that investigations are ongoing and more arrests are expected.
The Lusaka City Council (LCC) has urged all nightclub owners and operators to provide designated smoking areas to protect non-smokers from exposure to harmful second-hand smoke. In a statement, LCC Public Relations Manager Chola Mwamba expressed concern over the rising trend of shisha smoking, particularly among teenagers and young adults in nightclubs. Ms. Mwamba emphasized that while shisha is often perceived as harmless, it is equally detrimental to health and adds to the growing public health challenge. She reminded the public that any individual found smoking in a public place is liable to persecution and may face a fine or imprisonment. Ms. Mwamba added that the council, through its public health department, has noted with concern the increasing incidence of public smoking, which poses significant health risks to bystanders. She said this conduct is harmful and prohibited under the Local Government Prohibition of Smoking in Public Places Statutory Instrument number 39 of 2008. The council has appealed to the general public to adhere to smoking regulations and urged that incidents of public smoking be reported to the relevant authorities, including the council.
And is prohibited under the Local Government Statutory Instrument number 39 of 2008. Any individual found smoking in a public place is liable to prosecution and may face a fine or imprisonment. The council also observes with dismay the rise in shisha smoking, especially among teenagers and young adults in nightclubs. Shisha, though often perceived as harmless, is equally detrimental to health and contributes to the growing public health challenge. Lusaka City Council appeals to the general public to adhere to the guidelines on smoking and also report any instance of public smoking so that such people can be brought to book.
The Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ) has announced that the Chawama constituency by-election in Lusaka district will be held on January 15, 2026. ECZ Corporate Affairs Manager Patricia Luhanga said nominations for the by-election will take place on Tuesday, December 16, 2025, while the campaign period will run from Wednesday, December 17, 2025, and will conclude at 18 hours on Wednesday, January 14, 2026. Ms. Luhanga has urged all aspiring candidates to adhere to electoral guidelines and requirements to ensure a smooth and orderly process. The by-election follows the declaration of the seat as vacant by the Speaker of the National Assembly in accordance with Article 72, 2C of the Constitution of Zambia. The seat was previously held by Tarsila Lungu. The Road Transport and Safety Agency (RATSA) has launched the 2025 Road Safety Week in Kafue under the theme "Be the Reason Everyone Gets Home Safely." Speaking during the launch, Kafue Town Council Dr. Wumba Malambo said the theme reflects the district's commitment to promoting road safety and safeguarding the lives of residents. Dr. Malambo noted that Kafue, being a major transit town along the Great North Road, is highly prone to road accidents, with pedestrians being the most vulnerable. She expressed concern over the rising number of fatal incidents in the district, stating that too many lives have been lost, calling for collective action and urged all road users to prioritize safety, follow traffic regulations, and report reckless driving.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Road Safety Week is being held under the theme, Be the Reason Everybody Gets Home Safely. This year's theme resonates with our district's commitment to road safety and protecting the lives of our residents. It speaks to the core of our town's culture of family and unity. As we get into the festive season, this theme comes at an opportune time because it speaks to the importance of us exercising responsibility on the road to ensure that each and every person arrives home safely.
At the same event, RATSA Chief Executive Officer Engineer Amon Mwemba highlighted the country's alarming road safety statistics. By September 2025, Zambia had recorded 28,312 traffic crashes, resulting in 1,893 deaths, nearly half of which involved pedestrians and cyclists. Engineer Mwemba outlined RATSA's strengthened interventions, which include intensified patrols, enhanced speed monitoring, and joint operation with the Zambia Police Service.
Cooperation with the RDA and local authorities will continue prioritizing safety inspections on high-risk corridors where feasible, and safety improvements, pedestrian crossings, sidewalks, high-speed humps at schools and market zones are going to be installed. Reflective signage and improved lighting will also be implemented. Ladies and gentlemen, the RTSA has been partnering with private sector and NGOs on public awareness initiatives such as the seat belt and child restraint campaigns. The recently launched I Pledge campaign and other road safety campaigns that reach drivers, especially the youth and other vulnerable communities, will go a long way to addressing crashes on our roads.
The Water Resources Management Authority WAMA has welcomed a high-level delegation from the China Institute of Water Resources and Hydropower Research (IWHR) as the two institutions work to deepen cooperation in water resources management. WAMA Acting Director General Mrs. Misozi Lumpa said the visit follows engagements initiated during the 18th World Water Congress held in China in September 2023. She noted that has become even more critical in the work of Zambia's recent out, which underscored the urgent need for enhanced water management strategies. Mrs. Lumpa said the partnership will be formalized through a memorandum of understanding MOU that will establish a strategic framework for joint efforts in integrated water resources management, hydrological and groundwater modeling, flood and drought early warning systems, dam safety, climate change adaptation, and hydroinformatics. Meanwhile, Mrs. Misozi Ngulube noted that as part of the engagement, the IWHR delegation will tour the Kafue River catchment and key water infrastructure installations to gain first-hand insight into Zambia's priority water management areas. The delegation is led by Dr. Peng Wengi, Chief Engineer of IWHR, and includes senior experts Ms. Meng Yong, Dr. Hao Chungfeng, Dr. Qiu Yamping, Dr. Zhao Yufei, and Dr. Zhu Qinjin.
Opportunity to briefly highlight the broad mandate of the Water Resources Management Authority. As you may be aware, WAMA is responsible for the management, regulation, protection, and preservation of water resources countrywide. This is a substantial responsibility, considering that effective decision-making in water resources must be data-driven, must respond to emerging conditions such as sustainable development and climate change issues. However, as an authority, we understand our strengths and limitations and therefore leverage on support from other leaders in the sector such as IWHR.
Ministry of Health Assistant Director for Public Health Dr. Angel Mwiche has highlighted Zambia's progress in improving sexual and reproductive health outcomes while stressing the need for continued investment to meet national and global targets. Speaking during a meeting on enhancing sexual and reproductive health and rights outcomes in Zambia, Dr. Mwiche noted that the country has made significant gains in key indicators. These include a reduction in the maternal mortality ratio from 278 to 195 deaths per 100,000 live births, as well as an increase in the contraceptive prevalence rate from 49% to 53%. Despite this progress, he emphasized that more work is needed to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals (SDG). She cited persisting challenges such as harmful traditional practices, high attrition of health workers, and inadequate medical equipment and infrastructure. Dr. Moiche stated that the government has prioritized sexual and reproductive health, including the establishment of a transgender delivery unit to coordinate cross-sectoral efforts.
The targets for this has translated into strategies and interventions at technical level to actualize improved sexual reproductive health outcomes. To this end, Zambia has recorded improvement in the total fertility rate from 4.7 to 4 in the past 5 years, and an increase in the contraceptive prevalence rate from 49 to 53% in the same reference period. The impact of these results is the reduction in maternal mortality ratio.
Speaking at the same event, United Nations Population Fund UNFPA country representative Mr. Seth Brickman underscored the importance of integrated approaches to improving sexual and reproductive health outcomes.
I refer to a policy and legal framework. That I would like to pick out and make a scribble on the side of my notes is at the same time we are in a review of the population policy. And one of the recommendations is that when we talk about total fertility rates, we should not talk about targets. Targets for total fertility rate means that someone else, an institution, the government, or organizations tell an individual how many births we would like to see. It's important that we do refrain, that we will remain with the practical point of view of bodily autonomy.
Up next, the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
The Ministry of Community Development and Social Services has conducted a capacity building training aimed at strengthening officers' technical understanding of the Financial Action Task Force standards and methodology. The training seeks to, among other objectives, promote the effective implementation of legal, regulatory, and operational measures for combating money laundering, terrorist financing, and other related threats. Speaking during the official opening, the Registrar of Non-Government Organizations, Ms. Pumulo Mundale Moyo, emphasized the need for officers to remain vigilant against cyber-related threats in the course of their work. She noted that the training is timely, preventive, and essential in enhancing the ministry's capacity to identify and mitigate financial risks. Meanwhile, Financial Intelligence Center FIC Director for Compliance and Prevention, Mr. Difat Tembo, called for strengthened collaboration and coordinated efforts in tackling financial crimes. Ends the business news, and in news from across our borders, two senior military officials have taken hostage during Sunday's attempted coup in Benin after being freed, a government source has told the BBC. It remains unclear how they were released or if other hostages are still being held. Security forces are continuing a manhunt for those involved in the plot who remain at large. A group of soldiers appeared on state TV early in the morning to announce they had taken over in the worst African country, and gunfire was heard near their presidential residence. And in sports news, as excitement builds to the kickoff of Africa's biggest event, the Total Energies CAF Africa Cup of Nations AFCON Morocco 2025, CAF and the local organizing committee have unveiled their official mascot for the competition, Assad. Inspired by the Atlas Lion, one of Morocco's most iconic national symbols and a unifying and powerful figure across the African continent. His name, meaning lion in Arabic, embodies strength, pride, and cultural authenticity that resonate deeply with fans both in Morocco and throughout Africa. As an ambassador for the tournament, Assad embodies the joy, passion, and energy that define Africa's most prestigious football competition. He will play a crucial role in building an emotional connection and engaging audiences of all ages, especially children and families, who are central to football's culture and its future. Assad has been created not only for Total Energies CAF AFCON Morocco 2025, but for the future of African football. He will continue to feature in CAF grassroots and youth development programs, school and community football initiatives, and future digital storytelling. With Assad leading the way, the Total Energies CAF AFCON Morocco 2025 is poised to deliver an unforgettable experience, celebrating unity, pride, and the power of African football. Zambia is in Group A alongside Morocco, Mali, and Comoros. And now, the weather.
Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy. Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
Machinga then Luapula about northwestern, western, southern Lusaka, central and eastern provinces mainly cloudy, slightly windy and warm to mild with a chance of isolated rain and thunder. Ends our weather report, and that item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the stories that made